can do. And I'm hoping that just about everybody took that away from it, that, you know what, we can do this. We can work this. This can happen. Regardless of what we see happening out there, that's not the real story. There is another story.
Right.
And it's the one that we will choose to put together, not what somebody else is writing for us. And that's what I sort of got is, you have a story. It's not the one you see out there. It's the one that you have inside of you.
And bringing that out is the work.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Mr. Frank, I mean, I'm enjoying his story. I'm enjoying watching him write his story, you know, and it is his story, the real history.
Yeah.
You know? It's his story, you know, and he's sort of very strong at it, you know, and he's going to do this, and because he has a community.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, he has a community. There's a common unity of us empowering each other. And that's something I hope that people did get to, that when we have a common unity together, we become an empowerment for each other.
That's what's key, and that's what people miss. Sometimes they think they're alone.
Yes, and it's hard when you think you want to do something and there's nobody there for you to even say you can do this, or pat you on your back, or say hi. You know, it's hard. It's not easy. I mean, and say that again.
I said that helps a lot.
Yes, it does, sir. Yes, it does. You know, we all need to be needed.
That's right. And to know that we have value, that we are. By breathing, we're able to offer value to one another.
Yes.
And the syndrome has been that we don't hold in high regard our value.
That's right.
And therefore, think we have
Sister Niamo, cup that right there. That is the syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we do not hold our values in high esteem. Mm-hmm. We're busy working to hold other people's values in high esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we find ourselves in oppression.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Okay, because you cannot hold somebody else's value in high esteem, because that's their value. It's not necessarily yours, you know. But when you hold yours in high esteem, you can respect theirs. Okay, it's respect you give them. It's not putting their values above you.
That's excellent, because that piece of having to be twice as good is the worst thing that children were told, because they were holding as value these children whose parents were descendants of the slave master. And that in itself was not bad. But what was bad was there was no discernment of what they were bringing as something to imitate. You want to imitate people who are still disrespecting, disregarding, you know, Jim Crow, all of this other stuff.
Let's look at the mirror. Let's look at the mirror you're just presenting. You're imitating, you're looking at a mirror that somebody else is holding up. And what they have in that mirror is a reflection of you. And you're imitating what they think of you. So you will always be what they think of you.
Ah, there you go. That's a heavy chain. I feel that chain.
It is. It is. It is. It is very hard, because the mirror you're looking at is telling you this is who you are. So how can you remove yourself from that if that's the mirror that's held up in front of you? You can't.
Oh, and on top of it, you're told if you break the mirror, you have 7 years of bad luck.
You go crazy. That is too cute. That's true. That's true. If you break that mirror, you are in trouble. And so you will not break the mirror. You'll do everything in your power not to break that mirror. And so you eventually you'll hold the mirror up for them. You know, you hold up the mirror for them. They don't have to hold it anymore because you've taken it over.
Yeah.
And now you become the master of your own slavery.
That's right.
Because you're holding up the mirror that's telling you you have no value. And that's what I'm hoping that what we're doing and what happens is that we hold up a mirror to each other that tells each other how valuable. And that's what Mr. Frank, that's what you represent and reflect back, is that the mirror that's held up to you through this grouping and through working with Niamo is definitely telling you you have a great importance and value in this experience. And it's that helps you to be able to go at, I'm going to drop the smoking. You know, because the mirror that I see shows me I don't have to do this anymore. You know, I did it, but I don't have to do it anymore because I have greater value.
Mm-hmm.
I have something else that I can do with myself, you know, and that to me is what every human being needs. It's just somebody to hold up a mirror that tells them they have a value in life.
Yes. Yes.
You know, everybody needs it. There is no one who will tell me they don't need it. We do need it. We need to know that we have a value here. You know, and a purpose here. And if the mirrors that are shown up to you don't tell you that, it is very difficult to see your purpose and see your value.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how hard you work, how knowledgeable you are, how successful you become, you're still enslaved because the mirror is always there. And that's why you see a lot of people who are doctors, lawyers, and all these things they've achieved, but they still under the syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's still it. The syndrome's got them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they've gotten what was told to them to get, but they didn't get it from their own heart. They got it because this is what was said. If you do this, you will have value. But when they got it, it didn't do that. It didn't give them value. They're still beaten. They're still stopped, handcuffed, taken to jail.
Henry Louis Gates trying to get into his house.
You know what I'm saying? To being telling this man he's robbing somebody's house.
He's robbing his own house.
You know, I mean, come on. You know, so you really have to be the one to be around people who hold up that mirror and let you know how truly valuable you are.
So this
mm-hmm.
is great because it's telling, let me not stop you. And I what?
No, I'm good.
I was just going to say that I like where you're going with it. You have to be around people.
Yes.
Who understand the value. Now, what I'm noticing is that in the past 2 weeks or so, we got a lot of responses saying people would come out. And in the actual fact, a lot of the people who said they would come out were not able to make it. And in fact, some people were trying to make it while we were taping, while we were on. And we didn't have the infrastructure for monitoring the Facebook and the emails and what have you to have people join while we were on in the session. So what we're doing is distinguishing what it takes to unify and to come together. And it I want it to be that I notice I'm talking about it differently from just, oh, technology, you got to master technology. Oh, no. We're not talking about that. We're really dissecting the mechanics of our unification and our value identification. Looking at, do we tell each other? Is it part of the syndrome that we tell each other we're going to do something, or that we support you, and then they don't come out? I was a part of a group, and there were like maybe eight women, and they all said they would come out. One came. But then again, they didn't all say they would come out. Some of them were silent when I asked them. Because I think what is happening is that people don't get that how they interact with the world in terms of something like essential oils. They understand it as it relates to food. Food access has become very politicized. And people are aware that, the sugar is an enemy. And it's almost that, to be green is the way to go. However, what I'm noticing is that a lot of times we're just still using other people's mirror, as you said. We're still using the mirror of what the news is telling us. Yes. And it's, how do we generate our own newsworthy story that catches a fire, or not, that goes viral inside of our own being?
That's right.
And that's
the key.
That's what I'm looking at. That's
the key. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct, Sister Niamo, because that's what I noticed. Someone gave a scenario. He was doing landscaping in somebody's yard, and a gentleman passed.
Okay. Because we were just talking about that. Go ahead.
Okay, and a gentleman passed, and somebody said hello, and this person was like, "Oh, the man said hello," but the man kept going, and and then he heard hello, and he was like, "Oh, hello." So he goes back to work, and he hears hello. So he looks and he sees, "Oh, hi." But the man is walking away. Then he goes back and he hears, "Hello." And he looks and the guy is down the road. Then he sees he's got a parrot. He's got a parrot on his shoulder. And it's the parrot saying hello. Not the man.
Interesting.
Okay. And that's the condition that we're in, where we parrot things a great deal.
Wow.
But we don't necessarily feel it within ourselves and then express it. Not in a parroting manner, but in a true expression of our own selves. That parrot is going to say hello for as long as you say hello back to it. Okay. Till you change the word, and then maybe he'll pick it up and he'll say that word. Okay. But when you're giving your own, when you are feeling something internally, and again, that's where Mr. Frank also, I see when we're on the group, when something really hits him internally, you see his energy come up. You see his sense of, I can handle that. And he gives that smile right there. And it's like, that hit home. That really hit me. That's really for me. I can work that, And I thought, yes, he's receiving. Whether he's quiet or not, he is receiving. And as long as he's receiving it, his expression of whatever he's receiving is going to come out. And when he said that he's going to get rid of the cigarettes and he's, whatever, it was like, yep. Whatever is being said, whatever he's doing is going inside, and it's really tapping into his own truth. And according to the way the truth reflects itself to him. And I think what happened to us sometimes is when there was a lady on the group, and when she did the oils, what I heard her saying, the me that sent you that message was me. I don't know why my name didn't show up. It just came up as me.
No, it comes up as me to you.
Yes.
But we who are the recipients see that it says Sayy.
Oh, okay. And so what I heard her say that happened to her is that she didn't have a clear intention.
Yes.
But she had an inkling of her intention.
Yes.
So when she breathed in the oils, it made her have a clearer consciousness of her real intention.
Yes.
But it also made her understand that the smell of the oils, that combination she had, whenever she smells it anywhere, it was going to energize her to do. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then she said that her thing is that she does something, then she lets it go, and she really needs to be primed to do it. And I said, my God, that's what the oils awaken in you, is that whenever you smell this combination of oils, and that smell can come to you anywhere, once you smell it, it will energize you to do. It will energize you to keep going. So I'm hearing that the oils is not just awakening us to our challenges or what it is we're afraid of, but it's also awakening us to what we actually are dealing, what we actually can do to be what it is that's inside of us, if that makes any sense to you. Okay. It's opening us to understand what the fear is that's there. But it's also going beyond that and giving us an antidote at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
It gives you an antidote.
Yes. And it's that's a nice word, antidote, because what we would be normally inclined to do is to dote on the missing, to dote on the pain, to dote on the uncertainty.
Right.
And this is the antidote.
Yes.
This is the that's why they say when you smell the oils, things can appear to dissipate. You can almost shift from whatever that fixed memory is to you're supposed to create a picture, and you can see it shift, and you have another picture all of a sudden, and that's because the antidote.
That's the antidote. Yes, that's the antidote.
Something else.
Mr. Frank, on several occasions, actually did it. As I observed him. Is that when he was smelling the oils and you were asking him questions, Frank, you have anything to say? Does anything come up for you? Whatever. And he says, no, but I'm working on it. No, but I'm working on it. And he's smelling the oils, and all he's saying is, no, but I'm working on it. No is the fear. I'm working on it is the antidote. And so because he is working on it, he gets answers. Maybe long after we come off this, answers come to him because he is working on it.
Good, because that's intention.
That's right.
Intention.
That's right. Okay. And every time I caught it the first time, and I was like, I always catch things. Let me see if it happens again. And then you ask him again questions, and his same answer. And then when he got an insight, he will state it explicitly what the insight is. And he goes back to, I'm working on it. That's your mantra, Mr. Frank.
Good one.
I'm working on it. All the time, I'm working on it. Because it seems as though it generates, it vibrates inside of you like yeast, and it keeps you moving. It keeps you wanting to go after whatever it is that you're doing. And you say it a lot. I'm working on it. And I think that when you start just holding, and that's a good affirmation. That's a good affirmation right there. I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's an active, involved, right here and now statement. I'm working on it. Not I'm going to wait till later. No, I am working on it right. I'm working on it. Or not that I'll work on it. I'm going to be working. No, I'm working on it.
That's excellent. It's so simple. Some of us want to come up with lofty statements.
Please.
Hey, keep it simple.
And it's simple, and that is what happens when you hear the simplicity of truth. Truth is really not complicated. It's extremely simple. But we've, again, been programmed to look for complications, and when you see it, it's like, duh, how come I didn't see that? Okay, Mr. Frank, what are you going to say to us now?
Was very perceptive of you. And pretty much not giving up. I'm always going to keep working on it. It's something that's just not, it's not an option. I'm not going to give up.
And we are not going to give up on you either. Miss Niamo is not going to give up on you.
I told him that.
And I can really hold her in that. I can hold her in that energy. She's not going to give up on you. As long as God give her breath, she's not going to give up on you. You see? And we can't, because in a way, we're each other.
Mm-hmm.
In some way or another, we're each other.
Mm-hmm.
So if I give up on you, I have to give up on myself first in order to know how to give up on someone else. So it's a behavior that I have to know to do in order to do it to somebody else. And who is the first victim of that behavior? Me. I have to do it to myself. Then I know, I gave up on myself. I can give up on somebody else.
Perfect. Giving up is something that sounds like a syndrome piece.
Yes.
Typically, people give up.
Yes.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
I give up. It's always gonna be this way.
Yeah.
We can't change this. I'm just one person.
Right.
And on and on.
Yes. It's the dialogue.
The dialogue.
The dialogue. You hear it. You hear it so much. I mean, it's like a mantra for the people as a whole. Mm-hmm. There's no hope. And unfortunately, there is a lot. But I did enjoy the people who did come on. They were very vibrant and very into wanting to do something for themselves. Yeah. And that felt so good.
Yes.
That felt so good. That yes, there are people who really want to do something. And so it was like, this is going to work. This is going to work.
I got some feedback via email and what have you. post on Facebook, that sort of thing, where people said they got value.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to, following up with them and inviting them to come November 3rd and inviting others to come and experience it as well. So that's excellent. I do want to share that I've had maybe 3 sessions since then, and 2 of them were with individuals, one a white woman and one a black woman. And the one with the sister, an old friend who used to take care of my children, she was wonderful in just exploring how the syndrome has a vise. And what we were able to, the main thing I extracted from working with her is that someone's name, just saying someone's name in her life, had the effect of rendering her powerless. Rendering her powerless.
It's a fact.
Yeah. And I realize many of us have that. We may have a memory, but we actually, if we associate the memory with the person, that person's name will trigger that horrid feeling of powerlessness, that whatever it was so bad that we can't move forward. And so what we want to do next time is do a little bit more exploring around what's the syndrome versus what any human being goes through as growing process, as growing into adulthood, as releasing an emotional pattern that doesn't serve you, that has nothing to do with the pall of an umbrella mushroom atomic cloud called institutional racism. We want to make sure that somehow there is more discussion around that and more a more open conversation around distinguishing that. Around distinguishing that. Yeah.
I think that what the slave master syndrome becomes, it is a, when somebody is living their lives and then something happens and they need help from, an institution, or let's say vitamins. What are vitamins? They're supplements. The slave master syndrome is a supplement. It's part of the supplementation to a greater condition of the human experience. It is not the experience itself. And maybe that's the way to break the power from it, by not making the slave master syndrome the power, but it's a supplement that is attached to a greater realization of how you, the human being, view yourself.
Okay. Some people would say that's a poison. Talk more about...
what do you mean that's a poison?
Well, you had said a vitamin and then you said a supplement, and so...
No. I'm just saying that supplements doesn't have to be a vitamin. Yes. Addicts supplement drugs.
Okay, yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
We all have a supplement somewhere that is sucking some energy or something from us that's not building us. And we're working. Mr. Frank's supplement is the cigarette. Okay? But what he's doing now, he's killing the power that he has put in the cigarette. Instead of the cigarette being Mr. Frank is taking back his identity and putting the cigarette as a supplement that will have to go, because it doesn't have any power anymore. And the more he empowers himself and depowers the cigarette, the more the cigarette will have to leave. That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So the supplement is that which we add on to wherever we are and whatever we're doing and however we're thinking about ourselves and the world that we've created for ourselves. We begin to draw in supplements to drawing things to supplement the condition that we have already created for ourselves.
Yeah.
You see? So if we can break the power that this is not using what you just said, that the reality is not the full thing, it's the slave master syndrome. It is a syndrome that we struggle with or we have, but it's not you in totality.
Good. It's not your life.
What I'm saying?
It's not your life.
It's not your, that's right.
It's not reality. It is a supplement to your existence.
That's right.
It's a crutch.
That's right.
It could be a poison.
Yes.
It could be a stepping stone. It could be
an addiction. It could be many.
Under.
Okay. That it is.
Okay.
But the key is it is not the all powerful. And that's what people have taken it to be. That it is that is the mushroom under which they live. It is the power that holds them, and they lose themselves in it.
In a grip of fear.
That's right.
That's what I mean when I talk about a mushroom cloud. An atomic bomb, hydrogen bomb type of cloud, and everybody sees it. And it's no matter what they do, where they run, the cloud is much bigger than them. And that's how a lot of people process this.
But this is the slave master syndrome.
Yes.
It is the atomic bomb.
Okay.
Okay? And anywhere they go, they see it. It's there because it's there in them. Okay? And once they begin to look at themselves and realize their own, and to me, that's the greatness of the, using the oils and any other alternatives we have for healing, healthy healing, is that in doing that, it makes you identify your own fear. And how your fear is what makes you give that cloud, that mushroom cloud power, because you are afraid. And it also represents fear, and you attach yourself to it because of your own fear. But the more you release the fear and find out what it is that you really need to do, you no longer are going to stay underneath of that syndrome or that situation. You're not going to see it all the time anymore. You see what I'm saying? The more you see yourself, the less you're going to see it. It may still be there for others, but it doesn't have to be there for you. And you don't have to see it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because you're now looking at yourself. And to me, I'm just taking you as the greatest example, Mr. Frank, because to me, you're an example of what we're saying. That once you began to look at you and give some value and credibility to who you are, the cigarette is no longer the cloud over you. It's there, but you're not seeing it as much as you were seeing it before. It's not possessing you as much as it possessed you before. And the stronger you get in the realization of you and who you are and your purpose, you're taking back your energy out of it, because that's where you put your energy. So now you're taking it back, and you're now embracing it and empowering you and living with you. That cigarette has no place anymore. It has to die, because it only lived because you empowered it. But once you stop empowering it, it's dead. And you've gotten your power back to be able to be who you really want to be and do what you really want to do. And so all that energy that you'd put into that, now you have it to put into something that you feel would be much more valuable for you because you're such a valuable person. You see what I'm saying? And that's basically what any addiction is, or anything we hold on to or whatever, is we just put power in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the people have put a lot of power in the slave master situation, to the point that it's become a syndrome. Is when it is pandemic. It has gone beyond an epidemic. It has become a way of life. Okay, it has become a way of life to some people. And that's where their energy is stored, because that's what they're giving power to within themselves. So to me, doing the oils and identifying the fears and things like that, once they identify it and can actually get the antidote for it, of how to actually work through it, let something else happen. The moment they step into that other something, they've just taken out, maybe it's a half a cup of fear that just came out of that situation. But half a cup is better than no cup at all. Okay? And then if the next situation, they take out another half a cup. And they keep taking out their energy out of the fear, that stuff won't be their world anymore.
It won't get what anymore? Your voice went out.
It won't be their world.
Yes.
It won't be their power source. It won't be the thing that is keeping them enslaved. And therefore they go around enslaving others. You see? So the two things have to go together, because if you become one, eventually you end up being the other one. If you're a slave, eventually you will become a master over somebody. If it is your own self, you will enslave you. You know, so the behavior doesn't change. It's if you're one, you end up being the other. It's like a teacher and a student. A good teacher is always a good student.
Yes.
Okay? Because a teacher is always learning. And a student is a learner. You know? So to be a good teacher, you always have to be a good student. And it is the same thing. If somebody enslave you, eventually you will work to enslave somebody else, oppress somebody else. And even if that somebody is you're going to do it. You know, so to me, I think the value here is just getting people to realize they don't have to live under it anymore. There is something they can do. And it's viable. It's not expensive per se.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take them out of their life. It doesn't, all it says is identify yourself. Who are you? Identify you. And most people have no identity.
Which is so poignant, because in the course training for aroma freedom technique, they call it a clearing. So the practice sessions are called clearing, the clearing sessions. So when you say that people don't have a purpose, it's because they're deluged with the emotions and the tumbleweed of the past that is full of thorns and dusty, and they can't see their way clear. And so that is why the essential oils are so helpful.
It makes them breathe, Sister Niamo.
They can breathe.
They're basic, okay? They have to breathe.
That's right.
To me, when I look at it, I said, okay, narrow this down to its minute atom.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do that they're not doing normally? They're breathing.
Exactly.
They have to breathe. And that's the beginning, is the breath. You know, so the more they breathe in, the more they're breathing out toxicity. The more they breathe in, the more, because a lot of people don't breathe.
That's right.
They just, air comes out, little air go in, little air come out, but they hold the toxicity in.
Yes.
They're not letting it out.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing the oils, you have to breathe.
Perfect. That's true.
Okay? And breathing, when that child comes into this experience, it's a body. Until it says, ah! Then you know something is in there. A new one is in the planet. Okay? It takes that first breath. And to me,
somehow your voice went down. I don't know why.
Yeah, they take the first breath when the child first comes into this experience.
Yes.
Okay? And that defines we have a live human being.
That's true.
Okay, so if nothing else, people are learning how to breathe. You know, if they don't believe in the oils, they don't want to deal, they're learning how to breathe. And hopefully that is good enough for them to be able, when they leave, you know, I never breathed like that before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all of a sudden they're identifying breathing.
Yes.
They got what they came for, just to learn how to breathe and stay alive.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
You know, so they have, you know, and the cupping and everything that you were showing, I mean, it really makes people take ownership
Mm-hmm.
for their own reality of life. You know, the how do you call it? The symbols is truly about the identification of oneself. And I really think that that's what we miss. What people miss is being able to identify who they are. You know? And if you don't have your identity, what is it? Stolen identity.
Yes. 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 Mirrors a funhouse mirror of somebody else.
Yes. Stolen identities.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And as we begin to do that, we begin to see ourselves a little better, you know?
Clearer.
Clearer. Yes, I will actually, yes. We see ourselves, you know, as he says, I can see clearly now.
Yes.
The rain is gone.
That's right.
I can see all obstacles in my way.
That's right.
You know, I mean, that's how I think that, I mean, that's what I got from the, you know, our coming together. There was a lot to be gotten.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what do you see? What do you see for the next November 3rd? What do you see? How are we going to follow the same format?
Well, part of what I thought we would talk about here today, or, you know, part of the debriefing is to look at what worked and what didn't work. So I'm still looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already shared that the getting back to people while we're in the process of getting started may have enfolded more people to be witnesses and participants.
Okay.
Secondarily, I think it's better that people are on the video, on the Zoom itself, so that we can bond.
I agree with you.
And for my quote unquote money, the way it looks like to me is that kind of bonding would have to go on with people who say they want to join by those of us who are team members, reaching out and establishing and talking to people and drawing them in that way. So there's more comfort zone once we get here together, rather than we're all strangers.
Right.
There were two people on the phone, and one of them said she got so much value and she's definitely coming back, and she was on the phone. So it's not like you can't get value on the phone. But in terms of improving what it is we're doing and keeping it simple at the same time, I think pre-engagement would help. I think, making sure that someone's monitoring latecomers or people who are trying to get on would help.
Cheryl did a pretty good job, her, and so did Sister Shakira. Yeah, Cheryl was right on it. I saw that. Yeah,
definitely. I think that those of us on the team, it was as if we were having another meeting. So we were there, and you did what you said you were going to do, which I was so happy, because it worked perfectly so that we could wrap up with what it was you saw. And that worked perfectly. I guess the time didn't work for Bishara, so I wish that we could have had more male energy. And Frank was there to witness. And I guess the thing I would look for is for Bishara to be able to be available. Right now, we're scheduled to have the same exact date. So I didn't check with Bishara to find out if, in fact, he's available that date or not. But I do know that in our meetings, he has, offered a lot of value in terms of the potency of the oils. And I'll have to check in with him as to his availability. I might just adjust the day a little if that's what's needed to make sure that he's involved. Because this is a team effort, and it doesn't have to be the November 3rd that I chose. We just want to make sure we're doing it monthly. And we want to have it be a what's the word? Not a fast-moving train. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about, we want to build a momentum that has it be a natural, typical, regular occurrence that begins to attract people in different cities, whether or not it's done with us or replicated. That's how I see it.
I hear you. I hear that. I hear that.
And it's replicated, you see?
I hear that. I hear that.
Because I'm so tired of certain conversations. Someone sent something in the Facebook that was a chart of comparing income to, matter of fact, I think Shakira sent it. It was comparing income between blacks and whites. And I said, well, how do we even know that this is, something, and for me, those are the kinds of things that can trigger you unnecessarily. She says, well, it's something that we can target, so that our incomes are the same or whatever.
I don't want to cut you off. What I want to say here, I didn't know how to say it. But I